Stella, are you ready to do a video? Okay, let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erin and I do mostly budgeting videos like the one you're about to see here. All right, thank you so much for joining me. We are going to be going over some variable expenses for the coming week. It is Friday and I am filming this kind of on the early side, so hopefully I get this up sometime in the mid-afternoon, I guess. You saw Stella, she's very sleepy, but I showed her because she is taking a nap and I did disturb her. So if you hear her snoring, that's just my baby dog. So I'm gonna get started and we're gonna talk about our typical expenses and then some things that I needed to cover. So we're going to jump right in. I've got my calculator ready to go. I have got my cash ready to go. I've already organized it, but we'll count it together just to make sure we have the appropriate amount. I do have my budget planner. That is a tool notebook cover, and it was originally on just a Happy Planner Big, but I do have my own printables in here. And if you guys haven't got your hands on my printables yet, you can still do so. Check out my last video. There's a link down below. There might be a link down below in this video. I'm not sure. So anyways, this is my monthly budget for June. This is also my paycheck budget for the 11th, another paycheck budget on the 17th, but today is not a payday, unfortunately. So what I had to do was some creative accounting, and I just had to make sure that I put enough aside from the past few paychecks during the month of June so I would be able to cover the week where we don't have any income. So the next income that we have, according to my monthly schematic, is going to be on the 30th, and that is going to be my husband's base pay. So you can see, we'll zoom in just a bit, that is the last income that we have coming in for the month. This was our total. This is all the breakdown, and I do have that all broken down for you in a separate video. So we're just going to get right in, and even though this is not technically a paycheck budget, I still have to assign some kind of organization to it on paper. And paper is the way that I like to do things. I also am a fan of digital organization. I love Excel. I love a good spreadsheet. I even love turning these into digital files that you can actually use on your iPad, or you can use them on your computer. You just have to convert the PDFs. Super simple to do. You don't need any fancy programs. You can even go on the internet and do that. But I also just love pen and paper. I don't know, that's just the way I've always been. So I'm going to write here, income source is going to be previous pay, and you know, nothing specific or anything like that. I'm just going to mark that there just so I know when I look back that this was not a pay week. So my fixed expenses and all that have already been covered. Right now I'm working on, I guess, paying off the last bills for the month of July. I always pay our bills ahead, but the reason or the way we're able to do that, I've talked many times on my channel, so I don't want to bore you with that. But yeah, we got a month ahead a while back, and we have been going with that momentum ever since. So as you can see out, as I'm listing these expenses, it's so hard for me to write something and pay attention like to what I'm writing and also talk about something different at the same time. But it's okay. We're going to get through it. So I do have some news for you. And you guys, if you've been watching my past couple of videos, you know the saga about the pool and what happened with that. So make a long story short, we had been waiting for the manager of the pool company, pool store, to give us a call back, and he hadn't called back. I think the last time my husband talked to him was like last Friday, and he left a couple of messages. Of course, nobody gets back to us. But at that point, you know, he did give us the option of getting a refund, even though the contract does state no refunds. So he did call my husband today, and he said, great news, we're able to install next week. So at this point, we really don't have much of a leg to stand on as far as complaining or canceling this transaction, because that is originally what they told us. That's the date that they give us. Well, it's the time period, last week of June, first week of July, for the install. So we really don't have grounds to demand a refund at this point, you know, because like I said, according to the actual contract that, you know, it's binding, it does say on there, no refunds. So the only leg we had to stand on basically was that they were pushing us back to almost August, or it would have been August. It definitely would have been in August. But he did give us a firm set in stone install date of next week. So, or next, it's either next Wednesday or next Thursday. I can't remember. But anyway, so we're going to have to go with it. And that's okay, because I went back and forth and I was like, oh my gosh, it's such a blessing in disguise. I'm going to put all this money toward our house, you know, and all that. But we still wanted a pool. I mean, probably me less than my husband. He really, really wants a pool. This isn't the pool I envisioned for us, but we're still blessed to have anything. I mean, I'm not going to complain. It's a swimming pool. So I'm excited about it. I've never had my own swimming pool. You know, I mean, we've had swimming clubs and, you know, friends' houses and stuff like that, but I've never had one at home. So it's going to be new. So when you see this water here, this is going to be our one-time charge to actually fill up the pool. So I had this really what I thought was like a brainstorm idea. I was like, you know what? I'm going to call our water department. I'm going to tell them that I want to shut off the sewage for a day. So I thought, you know, because you pay for sewage too. Some water companies separate it. So you have a sewage bill and you have a water bill. Our company puts it all together. So I was going to say, can you please turn off our sewage? We're going to be doing whatever, you know, I'd probably make something up. And they don't do that. And so the woman, like, basically saw right through me and she was like, is this for a swimming pool? And I just was like, yeah. And she's like, eventually that water is going to go down the drain. She's like, so, you know, like the sewers. She's like, so we don't shut off sewage for anything anymore. And I was like, oh, so somebody else had this idea before me. So I thought I was like beating the system, because our sewage is about half the price of our typical water bill. And yeah, it's not going to happen. So I'm actually not even sure if what they quoted me is including sewage. I'm not even sure. So that's going to be interesting. We shall see. Also, my husband had to buy a new lawnmower. He did get it at this price. I'm going to say plus tax, because I'm going to do an even $500 for this. We had to charge it, and then I'm going to be putting the cash back in, and I just do it for video purposes. You guys know that. And the water was quoted to us as $345. And that is based on the size, the diameter of our pool, and the depth. So that is the quote that we got. We could have had the pool company deliver the water, and it would have been about 2.5 times that. I mean, believe it, it's so crazy what they gouge you for. But they would have delivered the water, but I'm like, no, thank you. So miscellaneous, I'm putting $50. Dining out, I'm putting $60. We're not really going out and stuff like that, but still. In this, I'm putting $75. Okay, so groceries, I'm doing $150, and we are no longer doing HelloFresh. I did not feel like it was the greatest deal for us, just because we weren't crazy about the food, which is really, really bizarre to me, because we've had HelloFresh before in the past, and it's been fabulous. I mean, it's so fresh, it's so good, you know, whatever. But I talked about this in my last video. The portion sizes have gone down as far as what we remember. So I don't know, somebody else might have a different take on that. And my husband was like having to eat dinner, because we would get it for two. We'd get 2 meals a day, or like a dinner for 2. And he was eating again before bed. He's like, I'm hungry. So it just wasn't a great value for us. And our Giant Eagle actually sells like dinner kits like this, and they're less expensive. Like, that's the crazy part. So we're gonna get rid of HelloFresh. We're not doing that any longer. And if you don't have a Giant Eagle or Marketplace, I guess is what it is, if you don't have that close by to you, I know Whole Foods does meal kits too, and I'm sure other grocery stores do too. It's just the two that I'm familiar with. So for gas, we're doing $120. It costs me $79.84 to fill up my car, because I think my car holds like 16 gallons, and I think we're paying $4.99. We were paying $5.10. But it did go down a little bit, so I'm not driving a whole lot, but I'm just saying it was really expensive. So the reason why I put 120 is because I'm only going to put 40 in next time because I just don't think I'm going to use the whole tank. And then the extra 80 is going to go towards my husband's. Then the lawnmower, it was $479 plus tax, and I know it's probably a little bit more than this because our tax is like 7.5%, I think. So I'm just going to put in even $500, and the rest will come out of the bank, but just for purposes of the video. And then the water, like I said, $345. However, I did not take cash out for this water because I'm not billed for it yet, but I do want to account for it. So I'm going to earmark that in my bank account and put it in my savings. And then when it comes time to pay that bill, when we are billed for it, I'll transfer it from the savings back into the checking and pay it instantly. That way I don't utilize that money. Miscellaneous, I'm going to do 50, dining out 60, and then the dermatologist, I had to go this week and get a mole taken off. I have so much sun damage. It's absolutely ridiculous. I loved tanning beds in the late 90s and even in the early 2000s, like 2005 and prior. I just loved tanning beds, and my mom would always tell me, don't do it, you know, and whatever. And she had a basal cell skin cancer, and then I went in for a mole a few years ago. Well, this is probably like 6 years ago. And he's like, this is like a melanoma. And he's like, so I had to go back in. I had to have it all dug out from my chest. And it was horrible. I had all kinds of stitches. It was very painful. And so I had another one in the same area. And I'm like, I'm just going to go get this taken out. So I had to do a $15 copay. And then she prescribed me some retinol for my face because I didn't have acne as a kid. But guess what? I have it as an adult now. So she said it would take care of any breakouts and also fine lines for middle-aged gals like myself. So that was $75 for the prescription and my copay. So let's total this up. Like I said, I'm not going to add water into this just because I'm not billed for it yet. And who knows? They'll probably say, oh, $345 wasn't a real quote. We were just kidding. It's actually $1,000. You just never know. I don't know. So I'm listing $500 for this. So 50 plus 60 plus 75. So I should have $955, and hopefully I counted correctly because you know me. So I'm going to put this aside for 1 second, and we'll count this money together, and hopefully we have $955. 100, All right, perfect, $955. All right, so now I'm going to grab my binder where I keep my weekly cash spending money, and let me put this down here. Actually I'm going to put $955 plus $345 since I'm earmarking that. Now for video purposes I need $955, but for budgeting in real life I need $1,300. So that's going to be my total. And then the $355, like I said, will be set aside in my savings, in my bank account, and then I'll transfer it to checking when it comes time to pay it, and I will pay it with my debit card. All right. So let's open this up. This is, I talk about these all the time. I love these binders so much. I think that they are so useful, and I had been looking for something with a snap closure, you know, something just a little bit stronger than a magnet. So I do have a link to these down below. I mean, I'm not sponsored or anything. I just really like them, and they work really well. So they came with a bunch of these plastic envelopes, and I just wrote on them. So if I'm going back to groceries, I need 150. All right, I'll just set that off camera. So I'm going to do 150, 1, and 150. And then I'm going to put that in my little plastic zipper. So we go to Aldi's and we go to Walmart and we go to Giant Eagle. It just depends. Giant Eagle is truly our last stop on our grocery shop outing because they're the most expensive. So I do try to find everything that I can at like Aldi's first. Sometimes I go to Walmart first. It just depends. And then we'll go to Giant Eagle for anything we can't find because Aldi's is limited. And for whatever reason, our Walmart, it doesn't always carry the same stuff. So like take for instance, like I'll go for Stacy's pita chips and I just buy the plain ones. It's just like the kind that I buy. So I'll look for Stacy's pita chips and I'll buy plain ones. And then the next week I go back and they have cinnamon and they have, I don't know, garlic, and they don't have plain. So it's really odd like that when I go to Walmart, and I don't know if you guys experience the same thing or if it's different where you live or if my Walmart is just weird. But yeah, so I always end up having to go to Giant Eagle at some point for something that I could not find either at Aldi's or at Walmart. And we do try to go to Sam's Club too. We just haven't been there in a long time, and I haven't been anywhere because I've been recuperating. So gas, I need 120. So let's pull some 20s. 20, 40, 60, 81. Whoops. I need another 20, not a 50. All right. 20, 40, 60, 80, 1, 20. And I'll tell you, this is probably my least favorite thing to pay for in cash because I always have to prepay, and it is such a pain. I just don't like it. I don't like having to go in and wait in line and then have them set the pump. I don't know. It's just something I struggle with, and I'm not sure if I'll always do gas like that. I don't know. It's just becoming so cumbersome. I mean, it's not killing me, but I just don't like it. All right, and next, Discover. We did use that for the lawnmower, so I need $500. So I'm going to do 200s, and then I'm going to do the rest in 50s. So 51, 52, 50, and 3. All right, so we'll count that all together. So 100, 200, 253, 354, 450, and 5. All right, so I got to go put that back in the bank and then make my Discover card payment. And you guys know that I like to use Discover because I like to get cash back, but recently I go on Credit Karma to check my Vantage score, FICO. I mean, it's not truly a FICO, it's a Vantage score. But I like to go on there and check that. And I check that almost daily because I also like to see if there's any changes to my report or what's going on. So it's really a good idea to use some kind of app to check what's happening with your credit. But I also, so they have a lot of offers for credit cards. You know, they'll do like a 0 interest balance transfer for a certain time or 0% interest on purchases for like 3 months. I don't know. I'm just like putting random things out there. But I also like to look on nerdwallet.com because they have such great advice and offers on credit cards. And I'm definitely not anti-credit card. I've said that so many times. I think if you use a credit card responsibly, they'll pay you. You know what I mean? So I'm using $50 for miscellaneous. They'll end up paying you. So my Discover card cash back, I love letting that add up and just, you know, using it for whatever. If I link my Discover card, or at least if I used to, if I link that to my Amazon, it would actually show me my cashback balance and I could buy something with the cashback. It would like take it from there first. I don't know. There's so many like good ways to have credit cards work for you in your favor. However, you know, it's also something you have to be really diligent about. I mean, you have to be super disciplined, and we weren't always that way. So I need 75 for the dermatologist, which I have right here. So I'm putting that in health. And that's also something that I'm gonna have to put back in my account and pay because I did use my card. So, and I use Discover, but I still want to put it in health just for video purposes. Just that's how I'm organizing it. And then dining out, I am putting $60. Do I even have dining out in here? No. Maybe I can put that in miscellaneous too. Yeah, I'll do that for today. All right. So anyway, but if you're somebody who, you know, you think credit cards are a little bit dangerous or you might not pay them off every month, don't do it. You know, I mean, pay cash, do whatever works for you. You know, I've been on both sides of the fence. We used to have $36,000 at once in home renovation and credit card debt, and it was a bear to get out of. So at that point, we were overspending. We were spending beyond our means. We were buying frivolous things sometimes, not all the time, but some of it was. I can't sit here and say it all went toward our education and our home because that's just not true. It just was, you know, there was spending and there was things that were valid. So after that was done, and then after I paid off my student loans, because I did pay off my student loans with my own money, I didn't get any type of government forgiveness. I made a $10,000 payment almost last August, and I have that video to show you guys, so if you're interested in that. After we got out from under that, and then after my husband lost his job and then took an early retirement and then got another full-time job, it just kind of like flipped a switch in us, and we were like, okay, we can't spend like this anymore. It's like, it's too hard to get out from under. So now when we use credit cards, we try to use them as responsibly as possible. So that's just my PSA for today. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this organization video. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And if you didn't get my printable kit yet, please check back. And I do have some other kits available, different designs, different like one-page worksheets. If you're interested, if you want to check out my Etsy also has instructions on how to print the free printable down to a Happy Planner classic size. So you can check out the information in the description for the ones that are on sale. It doesn't mean you have to buy it. It just has the information on how to print them to your advantage, or to your preference. And I do have some other giveaways coming up, so just tune in, and they will be coming very quickly. So I hope you guys are having a great day. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love if you stuck around and did so. And as always, I hope I see you guys in my next video. Take care.